The man you see across your screen is a free man. That's right. I just happened to finish writing my final exam for the trimester. Freedom is coming tomorrow. With this guy, it's coming today. There's never a better time to watch the movie Serafina than now. The day your favorite speaker, the Summer Sambit, was freed from the chains of college and the exams. Watch what happens when I get monetized. Ha. Anyway, the reason I'm making this video today is because of a very serious situation which I surprisingly didn't cover as much as I wished to this week, simply because of two reasons. One, the exams, and two, I actually didn't think the topic would go as long as it would. I covered it a little bit on my previous videos. I'm sure you guessed it by now. It's racism within the youth. And this week and last week alone, we've received multiple counts of school girls and boys in the Pinelands High School experiencing serious forms of racism. Personally, for me, the worst one was Pinelands, most probably because I actually saw the footage and because we weren't given the actual footage of what happened with the girls at Pretoria High. It's either they hid it and don't want the public to see it, or there actually wasn't any footage given. Might have been some other factors of racism that wouldn't be filmed normally. Which is why I'm going to make my cover on the Pinelands High School mainly, because we were actually given footage of that, and I don't really want to dive into something I don't really have much evidence to back up on. So you get my point, and let's get to it. But before we get to that, cheers to about a month of holidays for this guy who's about to get monetized. So the problem with the Pines High School boys thing, the first problem I have with this is how we're making this like it's a new thing. Because we're not going to just sit here and act like this is the first time this case has happened. It's actually one of the first times it's been brought out. So we're not going to sit here and act like, no, it's the first time this happened. Something like this doesn't happen at this high school. Let me ask you a question then to put you on game real quick. If something like that doesn't happen in the high school real quick, then tell me why it's escalated to such a level. Did you see the footage? It's a footage of boys who are not black keeping the black kids inside a cage. The black young men inside a cage. And they playing this game like one is auctioning for one of them, it's an auction. Not knowing that, actually they do know, knowing that they are reliving a very terrible past regarding the black people. How did it get to that level in the first place? Kids don't wake up one day and say we're going to do this to all the black kids in the school. They must have been given some motivation to do it, let alone some space. Because the fact that they could think that far into doing such a thing, it's proof and more than enough evidence that that school needs to be investigated in terms of morale and racial morale. This week, I think it was this week, the principal had mentioned that her son had to fight off the bullies who tried to put him in the cage too. Which leads to my question. Is this really the first time this happens? Your child had to fight off these people from racially abusing him. What the fuck? What the literal fuck? Why? Why does it have to go to the level of a kid? He's a child. He's going to school. He's there to learn. And then he's going to be treated like the biggest piece of dog shit. He's going to be reminded of a terrible past everyone wants to move on from, but can't because it keeps being brought back. He's going to be reminded of it also in such a way that it sticks with him forever. I don't think this kid is ever gonna forget the fact that there was a time he went to high school in 2024 and there were kids trying to put him in a cage and auction for him as a game. What in the world? What on earth is going on with our high schools? Pinelands High, a school that is so respected, that's not far from where I stay. Ha, you got me. I'm not revealing where I stay. But what I can tell you is that it's not far from where I live. That is a very respected school. My school, well, back then, I'm talking about the ancient days when this man used to go to school, when this man was still a high schooler, when this man was still the fickle who used to debate with his friends about the latest episode of Naruto. Those days. Yeah, that's right. I'm talking about the 2010s and the 2000s. Back then, Pinelands was awesome. They were great in sports and they were great in other things. And thanks be to God, my school at the time didn't face them because we would have lost miserably, and I think our reputation would have gone a little down because our school was also respected as well. I'm not going to reveal what it is because I don't even know if they want that to happen. I don't even know if they want anything to do with me with the amount of controversial things I've been saying in the past few months, But nonetheless, before I move on topic, my point is Pinelands is a very respected school. When I was at school, we knew that school. It was one of those schools where you're like, oh, Pinelands, that's a great place. Pinelands for the boys. Awesome. They've got the war cries and everything. Not knowing that behind the scenes, scenes, you've got some of the biggest assholes who racially abuse the black kids. For what? For what? I thought you said this was over. I thought you said that age is over. Are you trying to tell me that we still live in a time where black kids must be looking over their shoulders when going to school? Are you actually serious right now? In 2024, after the elections, after the GNU, after we've had God knows how many black presidents, you telling me that this day and age in the 20 fucking first century, there is a black child out there who has to go to school, boy or girl, as long as she's black, you're telling me she has to go to school looking over her shoulder because he fears he may be put in a cage and played a game against called auctioning? Are you kidding me right now? Look at me in the camera. Well, the camera's with me, but look at me in my screen eyes. Look at me in the eyes. Am I lying? When Mandela made his speech a very long time ago, if you heard it, his most popular one, it was the fact that kids of all colors could join and form a greater generation than the one he was in. A greater united generation, because humans united are amazing. If Mandela was still alive today, right, I'm going to bring a very harsh question. If Mandela was alive today and he heard of this news, how do you think the man would have felt? Maybe you could call him a hypocrite, who knows? I mean, that's basically what you're saying. Because, I mean, that's basically what it is. If he said that this wouldn't happen again and the country would move forward, but in 2024, you've got a black kid still looking over his shoulder, still being auctioned. And then on top of that, the kids are not expelled at all. No, they're suspended for about what? Are they suspended for a week? Just tell me in the comments. But it's not a valid punishment for such a thing. You're bringing a terrible past. Imagine a kid in Germany bringing back that Hitler salute thing. Do you know the consequences that child would have faced? A child talking about Hitler, how he supports him and the Nazis and everything. Just imagine a kid talking about that in a German school. How he would have been criticized and how his life would have changed forever. But these kids are so fucking special. They only get suspended and they're going back to school next week or the week after that. Bottom line is they're going back to that school and they're going to sit down in the same classroom as all those other innocent children. They're going to write on the same books and they're going to get the same exams. They're going to get the same results. Why? Why? These kids committed terrible crimes. Racial abuse. Isn't that a crime against human rights? Correct me if I'm wrong in anything I said in this 10-minute video. Well, I think it's going to be 10 minutes. I mean, that's how long I've been talking. I've been spitting pure gold for 10 minutes. And even now, you can't tell me that I'm wrong. That's proof. It's proof that something's got to be done about those kids. And when that principal was talking in the conference with Lesotho the other day, the principal mentioned something very important. Behavior starts at home. So if these kids are like this, if these kids have the goal to bring back a dark memory, what are their parents capable of? Who are their parents? What is the reaction of their parents? Are you ashamed? Are you embarrassed? Are you proud? I don't know, maybe you're proud. Maybe you still have that grudge against black people. Are you proud of the fact that your kids did that? Maybe it's you that taught them that. What do you have to say for your children that did this? All those children that are accused of being racially abusive at school, I want you to talk to their parents. I'm sick of all these people blaming it on the kids because behavior does start at home. The environment of the child in his mind is a result of his environment at home. Why is he or she so racially abusive? Could it be because they are one of many family members who are? I'll leave that to you to think about. So what was I saying this entire video? I was saying, first, the suspension of those kids is a very, very unfair proposal. That was a serious crime. I don't think they should have just been suspended. They should have left that school from the very first place. The moment you hear of something like racial abuse, that kid's got to pack their bags and look for another school, if another school is willing to accept them. That just tells me how low our standard has gotten to. We've gotten so low that we're willing to let a kid go and come back to the very same school after being racially abusive. A topic so deep, a history so dark, a kid brings that up and he's not expelled? We live in an age where if a child says Andrew Tate, he's gone. And then if a child is racially abusive, he gonna get suspended? What? For those of you that were at school in 2020, if you said the word coronavirus or something like that, you would have faced some dire consequences, young person. You would have faced some very serious consequences. But that's okay. It's not as bad as being racially abusive. It's not as bad as making fun of the black kid and putting him in a cage and auctioning for him with your friends. Nah, it's not as bad as that, is it? Nah. Who's Summer? Summer keeps talking too much. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's just a young man who started on YouTube, for gosh sakes. Why do you guys keep listening to him anyway? Why do you guys keep listening to his 12-minute rants about things he doesn't even know about? Tell you what, all the things you say about me, even if they are true, can't hide the fact that what that disgusting man says is true. So you can say the man is bad, but what he says isn't. Goodbye.